He bends down near the underpass, annoyed that his shoelace came loose at the worst possible moment. His fingers shake with impatience as he pulls the strings tight, muttering curses under his breath. The air feels strangely heavier down there, as if the city itself were holding something back. Just as he finishes tying the knot, a voice echoes faintly under the bridge, low and unsettling. He freezes in place, unsure if he heard correctly or if his mind is playing tricks on him again. The voice repeats with eerie certainty. He passed. Now. A slow, cold shiver runs up Noah's spine as he realizes the phrase wasn't meant for him. He lifts his head and notices shadows moving where no one should be standing. Two silhouettes shift quietly, watching the street with predatory stillness. Noah's heart pounds, not from hurry anymore, but from instinctive fear he cannot explain. He straightens up slowly, forcing himself to breathe as normally as possible. Everything around him looks ordinary at first glance, cars passing, people rushing. But something is off. The underpass has never felt threatening before, yet today it seems to swallow the light. Noah's eyes adjust, revealing the shapes of two men concealed behind a concrete pillar. Their posture is deliberate, too still, too synchronized to be casual. He wonders if they are waiting for someone and whether he almost walked straight into them. A terrifying thought flashes through his mind. What if he did walk into them 1 minute earlier? What if the shoelace, the annoyance, the inconvenience actually saved him? Noah takes one quiet step back, pretending to check his phone as if nothing happened. He feels the entire timeline of his day twisting, rearranging itself around that small delay. He walks away slowly, trying not to look like he's escaping the scene. His ears stay tuned to every sound, especially the rustling of clothes behind him. He keeps expecting footsteps to chase him, lungs tightening in anticipation of a sprint. But nothing happens. The silence behind him is even more terrifying. It is the silence of people watching and waiting, not acting yet. Noah feels like he has stepped out of a path that was written for someone else. He tries to rationalize it. Maybe they are construction workers. Maybe he imagined the voice. But something deep inside refuses to believe in coincidence today. He knows the difference between normal street energy and danger. And what he felt under that bridge was danger with purpose. When he reaches the open sidewalk, he exhales so deeply it almost hurts. His legs feel weak, both from crouching down and from the adrenaline still running wild. He glances back one last time and sees the men still there, staring at the street as if waiting for a signal. The phrase repeats in his mind, "He passed, now." He cannot shake the feeling that he dodged something violent, something meant for him. But how could that be? Nobody is after Noah. He's an ordinary man, living an ordinary life, going to an ordinary meeting. He tries to calm down by focusing on the station entrance up ahead, but the unease refuses to leave his body, clinging to him like static electricity. And that's when everything gets stranger. As Noah approaches the next block, a black car slows down right beside him. The window rolls down just enough for the driver to stare directly into his eyes. The man's expression is sharp, urgent, almost relieved. "You weren't supposed to be here now," the driver says before accelerating away. The car disappears into traffic, leaving Noah frozen in the middle of the sidewalk. Confusion mixes with fear, forming a knot in his stomach that won't untangle. He turns back toward the underpass but sees nothing but shadows. Everything suddenly feels connected, like two worlds overlapping awkwardly. Noah wonders if someone else who looks like him is involved in something dangerous, and if he just slipped into that person's place and then out again, by accident. He continues walking, trying to force his brain to make sense of the situation. The voices, the shadows, the car, all of it feels like a coded warning he wasn't meant to hear. His pulse quickens, not from running late but from dread of the unknown. Cars honk, conversations overlap, people move past him, but Noah feels detached from it all. He tries to breathe in deeply, grounding himself, but the city feels foreign now. He keeps replaying the man's words, searching for hidden meaning or mistake. He wonders if he should go home, cancel the meeting, or just pretend nothing happened. But something insists he keep walking, as if there is still more he needs to see. His instincts scream that he didn't avoid something random, he avoided something intentional, and that intention might still be out there. A few steps later, he notices something metallic near the curb. At first, he thinks it's trash, maybe a bus card or a keychain. But when he picks it up, he realizes it's an ID badge with a corporate logo. The name on it reads, Ethan Ward. The photo shows a man eerily similar to him, same hair, same build, same facial structure. Noah stares at the picture, feeling the ground tilt under his feet. It's impossible for two people to look this alike without being related, yet he's never heard of Ethan. He flips the badge, reading a barcode and an access level that looks high security. He feels his heartbeat pounding in his ears as if the air thickened around him. The badge is cold, but the realization hits him burning hot. Noah stands there motionless, gripping the badge like it might vanish. The coincidence is too precise, too sharp to ignore. The shadows under the bridge, the voice, the car, the wrong name, it all starts to connect. What if the men were waiting for Ethan, not him? What if the timing was perfect until Noah stopped to tie his shoe? What if the universe nudged him just 1 minute out of the crosshair? He feels a strange mix of dread and gratitude rise inside him. His life, routines, and identity suddenly feel fragile and interchangeable. He walks toward the station, clutching the badge like evidence of a crime he accidentally escaped. And with each step, he realizes something terrifying. He wasn't the original target. Noah sits inside the train, still holding the ID badge beneath his jacket. He scrolls on his phone, searching the name Ethan Ward, not knowing what he expects to find. The first result nearly stops his heart. A missing person report from 3 days ago. A man who vanished without explanation, last seen walking the same streets Noah uses daily. His photo matches the badge perfectly, down to the neutral expression and controlled smile. The missing notice describes him as involved in sensitive corporate investigation. Noah swallows hard, picturing the shadows under the bridge again. It suddenly feels like he stepped into a blueprint designed for someone else. His hands tremble as he locks his phone and stares at his reflection in the train window. For a moment, he wonders if he is looking at himself or at Ethan. The train moves smoothly, but Noah's pulse doesn't follow the rhythm. He can't shake the feeling that he inherited the wrong destiny and then escaped it by seconds. He replays the morning in his head, the loose shoelace, the annoyance, the delay. Every irritation turns into a lifeline, every inconvenience into protection. He imagines an alternate version of himself walking confidently under the bridge, on time. That version is met with the shadows, the car, and the voice that said, "He passed. Now." The thought chills him to the core, making him hug his jacket tighter. The world outside the window blurs as if reality itself is shaking at the edges. Noah tries to focus, grounding himself in the present timeline he accidentally ended up in, but the feeling persists. He wasn't supposed to be here. Ethan was. Across from him, a woman notices his pale face and asks if he's okay. Noah lies instinctively, saying he's just tired from the morning rush. He tucks the badge deeper into his pocket, as if hiding it might protect him. But he knows nothing can erase the truth he's stepped into. He decides to get off at the next stop, abandoning his original plan for the day entirely. The idea of going anywhere predictable feels dangerous now. He doesn't know who is watching or who is still waiting for Ethan. Noah pulls his hood up, trying to blend in with the passengers. He steps off the train with shaky legs but determined instincts. His life changed because of 1 minute. Now he needs to understand the cost. Noah finds a quiet bench and sits, trying to connect the puzzle pieces. Why did Ethan disappear? Why were men waiting under the bridge? Why did the driver recognize him or think he recognized him? The questions form a storm inside him, each thunder louder than the last. He thinks about reporting the badge, but something tells him that doing so might expose him. If Ethan is in danger, and Noah almost stepped into his place, then timing is not coincidence. He feels the weight of the minute he gained, heavier than any hour he lived. The world feels like it shifted tracks without warning. Something inside him whispers that he needs to keep the badge. It may be the only clue preventing him from becoming the next missing person. Noah walks into a cafe near the station, hoping to blend with the morning crowd. The warmth inside contrasts sharply with the anxiety clawing at his chest. He orders a coffee with a trembling voice and sits near the window, observing passers-by. He tries to look normal, but paranoia paints every shadow as a threat. He pulls out the badge again, studying Ethan's face as if searching for answers. A barista glances at it and then at Noah, eyes widening with subtle recognition. Noah stiffens immediately, sensing danger without knowing why. The barista approaches slowly and whispers, "You shouldn't show that here." Noah grips the badge tightly, unsure if he should run or stay. He feels again that the world around him is reacting to a destiny that isn't his. The barista sits for a moment, pretending to wipe the table to avoid suspicion. "Listen," he murmurs, "if you look like him, you need to leave the city today." Noah's breath catches as panic starts crawling up his spine. "How do you know him?" he whispers, voice barely holding together. The barista hesitates, eyes darting toward the door, then back to Noah. "People were looking for him, people who don't ask twice. If they see you." He doesn't finish the sentence, but Noah doesn't need the ending. He feels cornered by a story he never wanted to be part of. The coffee in his hands suddenly tastes bitter, filled with danger. The cafe no longer feels warm, it feels trapped. Noah stands abruptly, stuffing the badge deep inside his pocket. His heartbeat echoes in his ears like a warning siren. The barista tries to speak again, but Noah is already pushing through the crowd. He steps into the street, where the air feels colder and sharper. Every face looks suspicious now, every car too slow or too fast. He senses the timeline tightening around him, like a net closing. He knows one thing for certain. He didn't just escape danger, he stepped into Ethan's world. And that world won't let go easily. Noah starts walking faster, desperate to find a direction that feels safe, but safety seems like an illusion now. He ducks into a narrow alley to catch his breath, leaning against a damp brick wall. His mind races with fragments of warnings, faces, and sounds from earlier. The badge feels heavy in his pocket, as if it carries a curse. He realizes that if he keeps it, he might uncover the truth, but also attract danger. If he destroys it, he might erase the only trail leading him out of this nightmare. He slides to the ground, overwhelmed by the weight of choices he never asked for. The world outside the alley continues unaware, filled with ordinary lives. But Noah knows he stepped into someone else's extraordinary nightmare. He presses his hand to his forehead, trembling. 1 minute. Just 1 minute changed the entire map of his existence. Noah walks back to the main street, trying to look like any other man late for work. But his mind is 3 steps ahead, imagining escape routes in every direction. He checks his reflection in a shop window and realizes how easily anyone could confuse him with Ethan. The resemblance is uncanny, borderline identical. He wonders how many people are mistaking him already, how many eyes track him thinking he's someone else. He feels the city pressing in, like a maze built specifically to trap him. Every streetlight flicker feels like a signal, every engine rev like a threat. He never believed in fate, but today fate feels like a hunter. He grips the ID badge, uncertain whether it's salvation or doom. His life is split into before and after, a shoelace marking the border. He walks into a quiet park, needing space to think without concrete walls closing in. Birds chirp above him, oblivious to the chaos unfolding in his head. He sits on a bench and spreads the badge, his phone, and the missing person report. He studies the dates, times, and last known locations of Ethan's sightings. The parallels between their lives are terrifying. Same bus stops, same routes, same general rhythm. It's as if their lives were two parallel tracks only a minute apart. Then something clicks. The report says Ethan vanished near the underpass. Noah feels his throat tighten as realization sinks in like cold water. Ethan didn't disappear randomly. He was taken. And Noah was seconds away from being taken too. He closes his hand tightly around the badge, knuckles turning white. Everything in him wants to walk away, forget, disappear into normal life. But normal life no longer exists, not with shadows following a face that looks like his. He realizes he needs to understand who Ethan was and why someone wanted him gone. He cannot go to the police. They might mistake him too. He cannot tell friends. They wouldn't believe the insane coincidence. His only option is to follow the trail Ethan left behind, the trail Noah was never meant to see. He stands up, heart pounding with both fear and determination. This is no longer about coincidence. It's about survival. Noah takes one last deep breath before stepping out of the park. He chooses a direction that feels instinctively right, guided by fear and curiosity intertwined. As he walks, he senses eyes watching from unseen corners, following the wrong man. But he knows he can't stay still. Not when standing still might make him the next missing poster. Each step is heavy with the weight of the alternate fate he nearly lived. The shoelace moment replays in his mind like a prophecy. 1 minute gave him a second chance, but also handed him someone else's danger. He walks faster, clutching the badge with purpose. His life now depends on what he does next. He doesn't know it yet, but the timeline is about to split again. But while Noah walked away from the bridge alive, there exists another version of this morning. A version where he did not stop to tie his shoe. A version where the minute wasn't gained, but lost. And the world punished him for it. Noah hurries down the sidewalk, annoyed but unwilling to stop for the loose shoelace. He tells himself he'll fix it on the train, brushing off the discomfort with urgency. His steps are loud and uneven as he approaches the underpass. He glances at his phone to check the time, missing the movement in the shadows. The air shifts, but Noah is too consumed by hurry to notice. His shoelace flaps loosely against the pavement as he enters the dim passage. He doesn't hear the whisper waiting for him. He doesn't see the silhouettes behind the pillar. He doesn't pause to breathe or question the strange stillness. He simply walks, straight into the timeline he was never meant to touch. The shadows move in perfect synchronization as Noah passes. The phrase, "He passed, now," echoes softly, but with deadly certainty. Noah frowns slightly, sensing something odd but not enough to turn. He increases his pace, heart beating faster, not in fear, but in rush. He feels eyes following him, yet ignores the instinct to look back. The coldness in the tunnel wraps around him like a warning he can't interpret. He exits the underpass and steps into the open street. But as he takes one more step forward, a black car screeches to a stop beside him. Before he can react, two hands grab him with brutal force. Noah realizes too late that the minute he saved is the minute that destroys him. Helmeted men pull him into the car, pinning him to the seat with precision. He tries to scream, but a hand covers his mouth before sound escapes. They call him Ethan, repeatedly, insisting he stop pretending. He kicks, fights, and thrashes, but nothing breaks their grip. The driver accelerates, weaving through traffic at impossible speed. Noah sees the city blurring through the window like a nightmare in motion. He tries to explain he isn't Ethan, but the words don't matter anymore. One of the men says coldly, "We warned you not to run." Panic floods Noah in a choking wave as truth dawns. He didn't walk into a mistake. He walked into Ethan's fate. Noah wakes on a cold concrete floor, wrists tied behind his back. The smell of rust and damp wood fills the abandoned warehouse. He shivers violently, body aching from the struggle and the impact. A dim light flickers overhead, casting long, fractured shadows across the room. Voices murmur nearby, discussing him like an object, not a person. "No more games," one of them says. He knows what he did. He'll talk. Noah trembles, realizing they truly believe he is Ethan. Fear crushes his lungs as he understands one brutal truth: no one is coming to save him. They drag him to a chair and shine a blinding light on his face. He squints, tears stinging his eyes, unable to focus on their features. Questions rain down, about files, names, accounts, secrets he's never heard of. Every answer he gives only makes them angrier. They think he's lying, pretending not to know to protect someone. One man slams his fist against the table, shaking the entire room. Another threatens him with a cold, practiced calmness. Noah cries out that he isn't Ethan, begging them to listen. But the more he insists, the more convinced they become. His identity is no longer his. It belongs to a ghost named Ethan Ward. As the interrogation grows harsher, Noah starts breaking inside. He realizes they don't need him to tell the truth. They only need him to break. He imagines the version of himself who stopped to tie his shoe. That version boarded a train, walked in daylight, lived another ordinary morning. That version doesn't know how close he came to this nightmare. The thought becomes unbearable, suffocating him in a wave of regret. One small choice, one stupid shoelace, could have saved or doomed him. He feels like time itself betrayed him. The men leave him tied in silence for hours. Noah stares at the floor, whispering to himself, "I shouldn't be here." Hours pass, though Noah cannot tell if it's day or night anymore. His body aches, bruised from rough handling and freezing cold. Every sound in the warehouse echoes like a threat in the dark. He hears footsteps approaching, slow, deliberate, merciless. One man enters holding the badge Noah never saw in this timeline. "Ethan," he says, "you dropped this." He throws the badge at Noah's feet like evidence of a crime. Noah's breath stops as he stares at the face that looks like him. He whispers, "That's not me." But the room responds only with silence. The man crouches to eye level, studying Noah's terrified expression. "You can pretend all you want," he says coldly, "but we know who you are." Noah's tears fall silently, each one heavier than the last. He knows now he cannot reason his way out of this. Identity doesn't matter, timing does, and his timing was fatal. The man gives a subtle nod to someone behind Noah. A blow lands on Noah's head, sharp and numbing. His world flickers like a dying bulb. When Noah wakes again, he's lying on the warehouse floor alone. His wrists are raw from struggling, his throat dry from screaming. He can barely think, barely breathe, barely remember who he was this morning. Reality feels fractured, like he slipped into a nightmare version of his own life. He wonders if Ethan ever had a chance, or if this fate was inevitable. He wonders if anyone ever mistook Ethan for him too. He whispers into the empty warehouse, "What did you do, Ethan?" No answer comes. Only the cold wind pushing through broken windows. Hours later, Noah manages to loosen the ropes enough to free himself. His hands shake uncontrollably as he crawls toward the exit. Every movement sends pain shooting up his spine, but fear pushes him forward. He stumbles through the warehouse door and collapses outside. The night air burns his lungs, but it's the sweetest breath he's ever taken. Streetlights blur as tears fill his eyes. He limps down the street, scanning for threats in every shadow. He knows they might still be close. He knows they might never stop looking. He knows he cannot go home again. He wanders through back alleys, avoiding main roads. Pain radiates through his body, each step heavier than the last. He thinks about calling someone, anyone, but who would believe this? He imagines the headline, "Man kidnapped because he looked like someone else." It sounds insane even in his own thoughts. He keeps walking, driven by instinct more than logic. Every sound behind him feels like footsteps. Every car that slows feels like danger. He is trapped in the wrong story, unable to wake up. His identity feels like a stolen name. He eventually collapses near a convenience store. A clerk rushes out, panicked, calling emergency services. Noah tries to explain what happened, but can't form a coherent sentence. His mind is fogged with fear, exhaustion, and trauma. Paramedics lift him onto a stretcher, speaking calmly, grounding him a little. But even in the ambulance, Noah cannot shake the fear that they will find him. He closes his eyes, praying for the terror to end. Flashes of the underpass and the shadows haunt him like memories. He realizes he may never know what happened to Ethan, and he may never know why this happened to him. When he wakes in the hospital, the white ceiling feels unfamiliar. Doctors speak softly, telling him he's safe now, but Noah doesn't believe them. Safety is a timeline he's no longer part of. He feels his life splitting in two, the man he was and the man he became. A detective asks questions, but Noah tells only fragments. He cannot explain the full story without sounding delusional. He lies, saying it was a mugging gone wrong. The detective nods, unconvinced but accepting. Noah stares at the window, trembling. He whispers, 1 minute, just 1 minute. Weeks pass, but Noah never returns to who he was. He moves through life cautiously, checking over his shoulder constantly. The shoelace moment haunts him more than the warehouse. It was the hinge that split his universe in two. He sometimes dreams of the other version of himself, walking safely away. The version who tied his shoe, the version who lived. He wakes drenched in sweat, unsure which version he truly is. The trauma lingers, shaping everything he thinks and does. 1 minute lingers like a ghost in every step he takes. He stops walking near the underpass entirely. Even passing close to it makes his stomach twist violently. He takes longer routes, avoids quiet streets, avoids shadows. He feels like fate itself is watching him, waiting for another slip in time. He goes to therapy, but the words feel hollow and distant. How do you explain that the universe almost swapped your life with a stranger's, that you barely escaped a timeline not meant for you? Noah carries the weight alone, concealed like a second identity. He avoids mirrors for a while, afraid of seeing Ethan looking back, afraid of seeing the version of himself who didn't survive. One evening, Noah passes a bus stop and freezes. Someone sits on the bench, a man with a familiar face. Dark hair, same jawline, same posture. He feels blood drain from his body as the man lifts his head. For a moment, Noah thinks it's Ethan, but the man smiles politely, stands and leaves. Just a stranger, just a face that looks like him. But the moment shakes Noah to his core. Identity is a fragile thing. He walks home shaken, feeling the echo of alternate timelines brushing against him. He sits in his apartment, staring at his shoelaces for a long time. 1 minute, one choice, one inconvenience. It saved his life in a way he will never understand fully. But it also opened his eyes to the brutality of chance. He whispers into the empty room, "Thank you." He doesn't know if he's thanking fate, luck, or the version of himself who bent down, but he knows his life was split by a thread, and everything changed. 1 minute later.